What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. Let's get started. MLB playoffs last night. Tigers and Guardians. Guardians win 6-1. They force a winner, go home game 3. It did not start yet. That game's at 3 o'clock. That game will be probably about at least halfway done by the time I upload this officially to YouTube. This game was tied 1-1 for a lot of it. George Valera of the Guardians hit a home run, I think the second inning. Or no, actually in the first inning off of Casey Mize. Took 1-0 lead. The fourth inning, Tigers had bases loaded and 2 out. Javier Baez, base to center field. The throw went to third from center field. Originally, runner was ruled safe. On further review, he was out at third, and the runner was tagged out at third about a step and a half, before Broder crossed the plate. So the second run didn't count. That was really a turning point because that would have made it 2-1 Detroit in the fourth. Who knows if that would have been the end of the line for Tanner Bybee, and you had the top of the order coming up with 2 runners on, 2 out, now with a 1-run lead. Instead, now the game is tied and the inning was over. We went to the 5th inning. So big turning point. Was a tie game for most of it. In the 8th inning, Guardians breakthrough. Brian Rocchio go-ahead home run in the 8th off Melton, and then Guardians would have 4 more to finish the job. So they win 6-1. Winner go home game is today. Again, it's going to already be well into by the time this goes live. Padres and Cubs. Padres win 3-0. They also force a winner go home game 3. They scored, I think, in the second inning. They pull up 1 run, and they, like the 5th inning or something like that, they add 2 more. Cubs had a weird pitching strategy. They started Andrew Kittredge, a reliever, for an inning, and then went to Shoto Imanaga, one of their starting pitchers, one of their best ones as well. He got the next 4 innings. So very odd the way they did that, but that's how I did it. Padres started, I think it was Dylan Cease who they started. He got pulled in the 4th inning by Adrian Morejon, 2 1/3 perfect innings out of the bullpen. He ends up with the win. 4-out save from Robert Suarez. Mason Miller struck out 5 of the 6 guys he faced. Or actually, no, I think he struck out all 5 guys he faced. He was nasty. He went inning and 2/3. So Padres survive another day. They're gonna have Yu Darvish start today. That game starts at around 6 o'clock. Darvish did not have a good season. Year over 5, missed time of injuries. However, he's been a great postseason pitcher through his career. Helps go Jameson Taillon, who had a solid year this year. Yankees beat the Red Sox 4-3 to force a winner go home game 3. Another fantastic game. Yankees came out in front in the 1st inning on a Ben Rice 2-run homer. I think in the 3rd, the Red Sox tied it. They got some help from a throwing error by Rodon, and then a big hit from Trevor Story. Yankees take the lead in the 5th inning. Aaron Judge line drive to left field. Jaron Duran made a dived at it. Should have caught it. Popped it out of his glove. A bad defensive play by Duran. And run scores. That was off Justin Slayton. Remember, Brian Bailey got pulled in the 3rd inning. He didn't pitch very well. But then I think in the 6th inning, Red Sox get the run back from Trevor Story. Gets one off Carlos Rodon. And in the 8th inning, Austin Wells with the go-ahead hit. Great base running by Jazz Chisholm. A lot of turning points in this game. First of all, 7th inning, top of the 7th. Red Sox draw first back-to-back walks on 8 pitches off of Carlos Rodon, knock him out of the game. Then the Cruz comes in, and he gets out of that jam. They send up Yoshida once again to pinch hit for Ref Snyder against a right-handed Yankees reliever, late in the game. And he basically hit it in the same spot, right center field, on the ground like he did in game 1. That was the go-ahead hit. But great diving play by Jackson to keep that in the infield. Nick Sogard had to score on that. He's got good speed. He made the turn at third base. You got to keep your eyes on your third base coach there, okay? He should have scored on that. He absolutely should have scored on that. Cruz gets out of it. He got, I think, Trevor sort of flat deep in center field. I thought his celebration was a little much. He gave up a 400-foot rocket. If that ball was pulled the other way, that one was probably gone, especially if it's hit to right field in that short porch. But it hit to the deepest part of the park, just ran out of the room. So celebration was a little much, but does that out of the big spot. And Boston, they left Getlock in there for 50 pitches. He's one of your top relievers. Used to only going maybe, inning, maybe two, at most 30, 35 pitches. Why is he still in there 50 pitches deep? You could tell he was out of gas once he got to Austin Wells. He should not have been left in there. He should have went to Peyton until I think he went to Peyton until like two batters too late in that eighth inning. Alex Cora. And so for the Red Sox, can't imagine they'll have Whitlock today since he threw 50 pitches yesterday out of the bullpen. Only good news is that Chapman didn't pitch after going 4 outs the day before, so he's completely fresh. And no other reliever pitched through that many pitches. Justin Wilson did get 5 outs in the game. And who knows, maybe Brian Bayo's available. He only threw 28 pitches in that start, getting pulled with the ring, so maybe he's available. It's going to be tough because you do not have Lucas Giolito probably for the entire playoffs. I know they're starting a rookie today who will only threw 19 and 30 innings in the regular season in his first season. Only made 4 starts throughout his career. So you would like Bayo to potentially line him up to start game 2 against Toronto, but you got to get there first. So if he's needed, I see the Red Sox going to him for an inning or two out of the bullpen because you got to find a way to get this game from a rookie star to Chapman, with hopefully with the lead. As for the Yankees, they should pretty much have everybody. You have pitched Cruz, Devin Williams, and Bednar on back-to-back days. So they all will be throwing a third straight day, but again, all hands on deck. It's basically game 7. Gotta do what you gotta do. And Yankees will have Cam Schittler, which is interesting. He had a great rookie year, pitched very well for the Yankees this year, but obviously he's a rookie. He made 20 starts whenever he had. That's coming up in like June, and obviously he's never pitched in the playoffs before, so we'll see what happens tonight. That game's at 8 o'clock. Dodgers beat the Reds 8-4. Yamamoto pitched a great game, pitches into the 7th inning. Zach Lightal, who pitched good, had a good year in the regular season, started off good, then kind of unravels in the 4th inning. Dodgers were down 2-0 after the first, but get 3 back in that 4th inning. They tack on 4 more, I think, in the 5th or the 6th inning. And Reds made it a little bit interesting, thinking that 7th inning got to 8-4, but left the bases loaded, and then that was it. Rookie Sasaki shuts Fedor in the 9th. Dodgers sweep the Reds, and they move on to the next division series. They'll play the Philadelphia Phillies in the best of 5. That should be a really exciting series. Definitely the 2 best teams in the National League by a country mile, at least in the regular season. Dodgers are going to start. Shohei Ohtani will make his first ever postseason start as a pitcher in game 1 of that series. We got hockey and basketball right around the corner. The NHL starts this coming week. Less than a week. NBA starts in less than 3 weeks. Preseason kicked off today. I'm hoping to have an NBA preview. That is the plan right now. Sometime in the next 2 weeks or so. Hopefully a little sooner. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We had a couple of extensions in the NHL. Minnesota Wild extended All-Star winger Kirill Kaprizov on a monstrous deal. He gets an 8-year extension worth $16 million a year. I believe that comes to $136 million for Kirill Kaprizov. He's now the highest paid player in NHL history. Look, Kaprizov's a great player. He's only going to be 28 this year. He's been a dog for them, 3-time All-Star. He's had 3 40-goal seasons in his career. But this is also a guy who he only played 41 games last year. He's played under 75 games in all but 2 of his 5 seasons. So he's a bit injury prone. He's 15th in the NHL in points at the end of the league. So he's really good. He's a top 15 player at the very least in the NHL, if not maybe top 10. To be the highest paid player in hockey, especially for a very mediocre Minnesota Wild team, I think this is a bit of an overpay. Okay, he's a great player. 47 goals, 108 points in 2022. 27 goals in 55 games to win the Rookie of the Year trophy, Calder Trophy in 2021. Now we had 40 goals, 7 games the year in 2023. 2 years ago, 46 goals and 96 points. Last year, 25 goals, 56 points, only 41 games. So he's an excellent player, but a bit injury prone. And there are simply players that are better than him that are not making as much money as him. So I think they overpaid him a little bit. However, I know at one point they were, he had given them their trade list. He's thinking about maybe going back to play in Russia. They had to get this done. He's one of the best players in the league. However, 16 million a year for Curly Kaprizov is a lot of money. Devils also make a big signing. They extend young defenseman Luke Hughes. He gets a 7-year extension worth $9 million per season. That is 63 million total over 7 years. So he also gets a huge deal. Obviously, his brother Jack Hughes, also a 4th overall pick. Or I forget where Luke Hughes was drafted, but I know Jack was #1 pick in the draft. It's of course also on the Devils. Luke Hughes' last 2 years has been excellent. He's still only going to be 22 years old. He's younger than me. 2 years ago, had 9 goals, 47 points. This year, 7 goals and 44 points, and he played 11 less games as well. He's a very solid defender as well in the back end. One of the best game defenseman in hockey, and the Devils lock him up long term. And now to basketball. A couple quick things in basketball. Preseason, like I said, is on the way today. We got 19 days until the first game of the NBA season. Warriors re-signed Jonathan Kuminga. They finally come to terms with him. 2 years, $48 million. He's got an option in that after that first season. So Kuminga was a very high pick by the Warriors. He was a lot of pick a few years ago. First couple years didn't play a whole lot. 2 years ago, I was kind of Menza coming off the bench. At one point, requested a trade. That kind of triggered the Warriors to give him some more playing time, and to which he played very well. Ended up averaging 16 points a game 2 years ago. Last year, averaged 15 points a game. He had an okay year. Was benched in the postseason. Looked like he was going to lead the Warriors. He was very outspoken about that. A lot of negotiations for months and months and months. A lot of trade talks. Sacramento was trying to trade for him for a while, but he ends up back in Golden State. So I know there were a lot of talks. I know the Warriors were a little bit irked by his agent and how he handled the whole thing. I think there was some annoyance on both sides. I think he really wanted a big, max deal. Warriors didn't want to give him that. Originally, they wanted to accept a qualifying offer, a 1-year deal. He didn't want to do that, so they came to a compromise. They also had 2 other players. They had Al Horford on a 2-year deal. Horford has been playing for a long time. He won a chip with the Celtics 2 years ago. He averaged 9 points and 6 rebounds last year. Horford's 37, 38 years old. So he's at the end of his career, but still a good player. Still a very solid scorer. He's a solid 2-way player. And he'll probably be our starting center this season with Kevon Looney no longer there. Also bringing Seth Curry on a 1-year deal. So Seth Curry, of course, brother of Stephen Curry, younger brother. He's 35 years old. So he's also at the end of his career. He's quality, had a very good career. He's kind of always been overshadowed by his brother. But last year, he led the league in 3-point percentage, shot 45% from 3. He shot 43% from 3 in his career. 550 career games. He's a 43.3% 3-point shooter for his career. So he is a very good 3-point shooter to have on your bench. And he joined his brother. Kind of wild that they've never played together one season. Golden State never thought, especially a guy who's just like an average role player at this point in his career, he's kind of signing 1-2-year deals every single offseason. Kind of wild Golden State never, reached out. Like, hey, why don't you come play with your brother and be his backup? And it's finally come to fruition. Multi-year moment for Del Curry, their dad. And he is joining the Warriors on a 1-year deal. And they really found all his money because they said a few months ago, we don't have money to afford Jonathan Kuminga. Not only did you re-sign him, they went out and signed Al Horford and Steph Curry, and they brought in a couple of other pieces too. I don't know where they found that money, but they did. They're going to have a really old starting lineup. It's going to be, I think, Steph Curry, Buddy Hield. It's going to be Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and then Al Horford. The average age of that starting lineup will be 38.5 years old. It will be the oldest average age by a starting lineup in NBA history. Time's ticking on the Golden State team. At their ceiling is probably pretty high. Could have a deep playoff run, but if not, after next year, this team is going to need to try and get younger because they are at the very end of their peaks for sure. And the sixth re-sign Quentin Grimes. He gets a one-year deal worth $8.7 million. Also on the no trade clause in there. Grimes started his career with the Knicks, gets traded to Philly in that trade for Bogdanovich. And they're going to trade to Dallas originally, I think. And then Dallas traded them to Philly not too long after they traded Luka last year. He played really well down the stretch for the 76ers. He's still young. And then re-signed him. I think he wanted a longer-term deal, but they couldn't agree, so he took the one-year deal. So it's a big year in Philly. Can Embiid, Paul George, and all of them stay healthy? Quentin Grimes is included in that too. I doubt it, but they do bring back Quentin Grimes. And he'd extend Nikola Jovic on a 4-year deal of $62.4 million. He's a former second-round pick. He first few years didn't play a whole lot, wasn't very productive, but had the best year of his career last year, averaged 10 points, almost 11 points a game last year. Had a decent year. And this is a year where he really needs to take a big step forward. He kind of at a crossroads, playing exit last year, the whole Jimmy Butler drama. Didn't do a whole lot in the offseason, but you do pick up Norman Powell in a trade. So that was a good move for him. He's a very good shooter, can score the basketball. And this would be a nice time for Jovic to really step up because they are going to need him, not super deep on that bench. Kind of an aging team. Have some young guys. Hero, Bam Adebayo still is in his prime. Hero's in his prime. Jaquez is very young. But they're going to need Jovic here, so we'll see what happens with him. To finish up today, I'm going to go for my top 5 breakouts from this MLB season. Let's get started. Take this thing home. At number 5, I'm going to have Drake Baldwin. Baldwin, a rookie. First two guys on the list are rookies, 24 years old. He had a very good rookie year. Catcher, had been the Braves' top catcher prospect for a while. This was going into this year. The plan was for him. He had to potentially compete for a starting catcher role in spring training. He makes the roster, ends up taking over the starting catcher duties relatively early. And he had a very good year at 274, 19 home runs, 80 RBI, 340 on base, 810 OPS. Not very often catchers, burst onto the scene like this with this kind of power. Very impressive rookie year from Drake Baldwin. Hell of a shot to a National League Rookie of the Year. 1980 from a catcher at any age is very, very good. And he did it as a 23 going on 24-year-old rookie. Reason he might not win Rookie of the Year is because of his next guy. Number 4, I have Cade Horton, Cubs starting pitcher. He's hurt right now. He got hurt in the final week of the regular season. He's not available for the series against the Cubs. May not be available for most of the series. That's essentially he's not until Game 5 against San Diego, against potentially whoever they play in the next round. But Cade Horton, 22 starts here, 23 overall appearances, 11-4, 2.67 ERA, 97 strikeouts, 118 innings, whipped just a touch above one, only 33 walks. He was fantastic this year. Still 23. So he recently turned 24 a couple of months ago. He was really, really good. Had been one of the Cubs' better pitching prospects for a while, but I don't think a lot of people thought he would burst onto the scene and be the ace of their staff of this season. It's a big reason why they are in the playoffs and 1 win away from advancing to the National League Division Series, I believe, for the first time since might be since they won the World Series 2016. At number 3, I have Junior Caminero. Rays, were very competitive this year, but did not make the playoffs. But a bright spot was certainly Junior Caminero. Caminero this year, he only turned 21 years old. So, 22 years old a few months ago, and he was brilliant. This is a guy, his first 2 years did not play a lot. Only had not even 200 at bats to his name. This year, he hit 264 with 45 home runs and 110 RBIs. Slugged 535, which is very, very good. 846 OPS. The guy absolutely mashed this year. 4th hit in the race. First ever All-Star appearance as well. 28 doubles. The guy was an absolute beast at the plate this year. There was because of how much attention went into the American League MVP race with Aaron Judge hitting 330 with 3 home runs and Cal Raleigh hitting 60 home runs as a switch hitting catcher, just ridiculous. There's a lot of guys who had just fantastic years, breakout seasons that kind of went unnoticed, and one of them was Junior Caminero. The Rays were a team that were in the American League wildcard race until about the last week of the season. Guy hit 45 home runs with 110 ribbies. and really didn't hear anything about him ever because he was on the Rays, who were, a very small market and were a mediocre team at best all season. But Caminero, big year for him. Number 2 is Nick Kurtz. What a rookie year for this guy. Came out of nowhere, first baseman for the A's. Hit 290 with 36 home runs, 86 RBIs, a 380 on base, a 619 slugged OPS rather over 1,000. The guy was absolutely ridiculous this year. Absolute beast. 26 doubles along with 2 triples. If my math is correct, that gives him what? 64 or something like that, extra base hits. The guy was an absolute monster this year. He is only 22 years old. Will be 23 years old to start of next season. The reason he was a 4th overall pick only last year. So very quick rise out of Wake Forest for him. He was an absolute monster. And part of what I think is a very bright future for the Athletics, regardless of where they are playing their home baseball games. They have a bright future, and a big reason is this kid, Nick Kurtz. He was an absolute monster as a rookie. And number 1, the breakout candidate this year in MLB, to me, is Garrett Crochet. Now, Crochet was very good with the White Sox last year. 3.5 ERA in 32 innings, but became an absolute beast this year with the Red Sox. Flip a coin between who is the best left-handed starter and overall best pitcher in the American League between him and Tarek Skubal in Detroit. Crochet is an absolute beast. 18-5 this year, 18 wins, 2.59 ERA in 32 starts. Led the league of 205 in the third innings. Also led the league with 255 strikeouts and 46 walks. 255 Ks and 46 walks in 205 in the third. That is absolutely incredible numbers, especially in today's league when, a lot of stars are not getting credit for legit wins and do not, pitch deep into ball games. 200 innings is a very rare thing now. And he gave you 205 in the third, went there every single day and shoved 255 strikeouts, only 46 walks. The guy was absolutely dominant all season, whipped barely above 1 at 1.28 or 1.028. Just absolutely ridiculous what Garrett Crochet did this year, and he was your biggest breakout candidate this year in Major League Baseball. With that, that's all I got for you guys today. Plan to do a show tomorrow. We're not 100% sure, but we'll definitely have a show Monday. If not, also we got MLB playoffs to talk about. Well, I would like to talk about Thursday Night Football tomorrow, but we shall see. But until next time, so long. Have a great day.